Hanging out with Zach Bobbett. Make sure to look back. I heard the interview where he talked about the nice season he's having at Paradise in his 600 micro, but for this one here, I've always wondered how these things drive, because these are not like a regular sprint car. These actually have a battery and have a starter, so you don't get pushed off like everybody else. Zach, how we doing?
Good.
Let's start with the motor. What are we looking at here?
Right here, we're looking at a Gixxer 600 on an Engler A-Class by Ryan Greff.
Fuel injected?
Fuel injected, yep. Four injectors fire this off. Usually about 63 pounds of fuel pressure I got this set at.
Okay.
From 62 before, in the summertime, we fattened it up a little bit just so it wouldn't lean out during the cold weather.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, kind of like jetting up a carburetor.
Yep.
Same thing. All right, so how do we, and of course it's chain driven, by the way, so this is not direct drive like in that situation. Back in the day, the chain was always the weak link, literally in this case. Is it still?
Not so much this year. I've had pretty good luck. I know a few guys that have wadded a few of them up.
No, the chains used to break.
Yes. Yep, that's what we're talking about. Yep. 4 or 5. I've heard one guy break 4 or 5 of them this year, but we've been on the same one all year. So.
And what happens when you brake? Is there something is there a rev limiter on the motor?
There is a rev limiter on the motor. This one here, Suzuki's are set to 16.1. If you're in a Cowie, you're limited because you have a 636.
Okay.
So they're reduced to 14.8 RPM.
Okay. Now this here, from what I understand, these drive very similar to like a Mod Light. This is a clutch and a shifter,
Yes,
correct?
correct.
So how do we do it? What do we do first?
So we pull the clutch in here, get her in first gear, and then it's a throttle and hand movement going on. So the more throttle you give it, the easier it is going to be let the clutch go. But you got to get it in sync. And that was my weakest link starting last year in the Ninja, was trying to correlate the clutch and throttle.
Yeah.
But once you get the hang of it, it's a no-brainer.
That's true. Okay, all right. So what do we do now? We got it in first. How do we get it into second? It's because it is a motorcycle shifter, so
right.
I imagine it's the other way,
Yep,
right?
So we pull it back, get it in first, and then we'll just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is forward.
So you would just get it back into neutral again, and then push it forward again?
Pretty much.
And that's it?
Yep.
Okay. How about when we come in?
Come in, the same thing. Do what you got to do. Usually we get the cool down lap, and that's when we shift back down to second gear.
Okay.
And coming off the track, it's just keeping the motor up to RPMs without letting too much of the clutch go at once.
Okay.
When you're coming in. But other than that, you get to where you want to be, click it 2 times in neutral, and that's where you are.
Yeah, some guys I know would just kick it into neutral, wait till they were going slowly enough where they could kick it into first, and then they bring it in. So, okay, let's look at the controls and stuff inside. What's going on in here? How do we actually get it started?
What we got going on in here, we got our main fuel, our main power, flip it to a fuel pump.
Oh, we can hear it. Okay.
That's our oil light. Make sure we have oil pressure. Here is the data. That'll tell us our RPMs and lap times. We have a fan to cool it down, and our wing movement forward and back.
Oh, you do that too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
You want it running?
Yeah, let's start it up. Why not? How much horsepower are we looking at here?
I'd say about 137.
And the car weighs?
About 860.
That's a pretty good ratio, isn't it?
That's a really good ratio.
So there's a lot of snap on these
There's a
things,
lot
huh?
of snap, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, what is this over here? This knob right here that we're looking at?
This one right here, that's
Yes,
our
sir.
That's our panhard adjustment. To let it down or forward. The more you go down, the more this will shift left. The whole axle will actually shift out left.
Okay.
But the problem with that is it's adjustable, but it moves your chain around, and they want your chain straight. But if you move that over, it's
not
just
straight anymore.
It's a whole game there.
So you have to do that on the straightaways? Can you do that while you're racing?
If you're good enough, yes.
Yeah, okay.
I have it zip tied there, so no, I'm not good enough for that, and I don't want to.
Yeah, I remember I drove a car with a brake bias adjuster for a year, and I remember one time it was tight going in, and I thought about reaching, but I couldn't remember which way was which, and I said, I think it's fine where it is.
Yeah.
So you would have been with me on that one, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So, all together, what's the engine cost range, if you don't mind me asking? What's low and high?
This package we got here, with everything in it, injection, I'd say about $6,500 as a package.
Okay. And how much for everything else?
Everything else, the car, shocks, wings, swing components, all the little components. To buy one race ready off of Hyper's lot, is about 32 grand right now.
Really?
But
I was expecting a lower number, I'll be honest with you, Zach. So
as long as starting out's the hardest part in these. Once you have everything, you just build off from there. As long as you get past the initial hit,
I can see that, yes.
It's a pretty fun game.
All right. Thanks for this, Zach. I really appreciate this, and hope you guys learned something here too. So this is not an entry-level division by any means, and so you can basically have what a winning sportsman would be in one of these things. But they run these here all the time. They got a couple more weeks to go here, or one more week for him coming up this weekend. And again, make sure to take advantage of those Wednesday practices, guys, because they run those right up through November. Good to see you, man.
Thank
you
you.
have fun tonight, okay?
Thank you. Thanks. Appreciate it.